Да, уже сейчас запустилось. Hey guys, I hope somebody can see us. Let's wait for people to join. We have Globalvision today. Hi Globalvision.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for inviting.
We have a first snow today in Moscow. Really disturbing amount of snow came. What is your
Mhm.
weather at, at your region?
It's the same, and it's a little bit slippery because
Very,
it's pretty
very
water
sleepy.
place.
Yeah, a bunch of traffic jams today, a bunch of car crashes. What do you think about the technologies in the past? How did they actually handle these weather conditions?
They
Have you?
didn't because no, it was very warm. People didn't have warm clothes and so on. I
So
have
no.
many proofs.
So you think that like 200-300 years ago, no snow and stuff like this?
Absolutely, all over the globe because air pressure was at least twice higher than today, and it was really warm. Dinosaurs and
Yeah, I've seen
are
a
there.
bunch of pictures when we see the people dressed in the summer clothes during so-called winters, and it's really hard to find a real winter picture or image in Russian painting before the 19th century, I think. So I think you're right about it, and a bunch of people think about this the same. So all those so-called dinosaurs are actually the animals and the reptiles that were living amongst the people not that long ago, as would you say?
Sure, agree with you.
Yeah. So people started to join. Hi, we have like about around 20 people. Uh, so guys, we want to talk about the pre-flood subway tech. Um, I haven't yet got a chance to visit a Moscow subway museum. Probably do it only in January after maybe a week or so. But guys like Evgeny Makarov and Globalvision Telnazor visited Moscow subway a bunch of times in the summer, and they filmed some footage which was presented on your channel. I think you made on your Russian channel, and Evgeny Makarov also did it, right?
Yeah, because it's common production, joint. I mean,
Oh, okay. And so they got some ideas about what was left from the pre-flood era, when we see some, things that we cannot explain with the technology of the 30s of the previous century. And so, what was the biggest conclusion that you guys made during this walk?
we definitely got another proof that all earlier subway, metro, tubes, whatever, because in different countries people call it different way, but all underground metros, they were digged out. They are not constructed as official narrative is saying us, because it's not possible according to uh, technology level of that time. For example, London tube was built in the end of 19th century, which no way it could be done that time officially. I cannot hear you.
Moscow subway was made a lot deeper than the London one. The at least the second line. The first line was like not that very deep, but people think that they made this line in the streets of the previous city, like that was the pre-flood city, and they had it like a deep, not that deep, buried streets, and so they made those tunnels right in front of those pre-flood houses, which we can still find underground. And the second line was deeper, and so they asked, why are you building the second line so deep, because the first one was okay and it wasn't so deep. And so they said, like, we have to. And so, like, why? I think that they knew that something is also, like, changing, and they like disturbing the all this pre-flood composure that was underground, and so they like destroying it, and maybe they wanted to research it more. I don't know. So they started to construct the hallways as more deeper as what they trying to explain. And this is what I think they found in other levels, and probably they were trying to clean it up. What do you think?
I think partially, yes, it's true because the first line was really close to the surface, but then it was second and third line of underground. Also before mud flood, they didn't wanna use it, and they're hiding something, and they made the second line really much deeper. The existing uh, some constructions before mud flood, so just didn't want to touch it. They
And you
made it
guys,
really deeper.
you guys filmed the second line, the Arbatsko-Pokrovskaya, like the Kurskaya station, Arbatskaya station. Yes.
No, I mean you said London underground.
No,
Yeah,
I'm talking
Russian
about.
underground. Yes, it's a huge network of tunnels, different one, and we really don't know what is in there. What we know, I think it's about 5% of what really is there.
It would be nice to compare the official narrative and what you guys found, and to see what we can, what conclusions we can make, because obviously the official narrative doesn't fit in what you can see and what you found.
I think it's gonna be in the future. It's only first video. We will have bunch of videos about it.
Yeah. Do you have any footage that you can show to the viewers, like maybe some screen share?
I will try just a second.
Okay. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe to Globalvision. He has a nice channel in English. He mostly does his work in Russian with other researchers, collaborates with the famous Russian channel Evgeny Makarov and many more. So,
I will try to show just a second. I have some noise.
yeah, just shut down the sound, and just when you
I
show
will
those
try.
artifacts, they will be freeze the frame, and show us what you're talking about. Because no people will probably you're gonna upload this video on your English channel, right?
It is already on there,
It is already okay. So
and as you see, lights. It's original. It
light bulbs.
it is
Yeah.
original light bulbs, and
Mhm.
there are many signs of this like crown things, and there are a lot of pine cones underneath it. You see, it's
Mhm.
all original. It's all original, absolutely. And all those spiral and so on. It doesn't look like it's Soviet style, communist style. It has some application, technical application, and the way those columns done, how much.
Yeah, is this marble?
Yeah, perfect marble, and it looks like this on the left there is a natural one, and this one is definitely unnatural because of color and because of how to say some
Compose.
patterns,
Yeah,
always
yeah.
patterns in natural marble and the natural stones. And here we don't see any marbles, any patterns, any drawings, or how to say, injections inside.
Yeah. So what you're actually saying is that some parts were left by the pre-flood subway, and they try to integrate it in this, ugly, sometimes ugly, landscape,
Yes,
right?
we can clearly see the two types of decorations and
Yeah,
two
I
types
see. I
of.
see. This is the back one is a lot more cheaper, and looks definitely worse than the first one.
It, no, this all pre-flood. I mean decorations, Soviet decorations like those statues and
Mhm.
original ones that existed before. So they added some symbolics, some symbols of Soviet Union, and they say we build it.
So what are you saying? They dress those sculptures in so-called Soviet parts, like maybe.
Sometimes they edited sculptures. Sometimes they just add Soviet sculptures.
Hmm.
to the earlier built stations, and they say, yeah, we build it because although how to say wells, vents, венки, how to say in English,
Um, those,
leaves,
let's call them flower circles or leaf circles.
yeah, leaf circles, whatever. It's definitely Greco-Roman style, and something is missing there. Definitely, a lot of was torn down. A lot of decorations. And as I show you, just a second, those one with spirals and so on, it's original. But the color of the other statues, they're also metallic. This is also made of bronze, but a little bit different. This one, a little bit earlier, older than statues.
Hmm.
They added statues and said, "We built it." That's it.
So, guys, they just left some details from the pre-flood subway station decoration and added some Soviet, design, and this is what we see right now.
Yes, and you see the shape of tubes, the huge round tubes with sailings and light bulbs. Also very interesting. And if you look at the sailings, you will see also decorations, not in Soviet style, and the way the walls done, the quality of the stones, granite, and so on. It's not granite; it's I don't know, valuable, expensive stones. It's only one station actually. I will show you more because there are
Yeah, just show us
dozens
the
of them.
Kursk station where when we have all this, fountain of energy that you guys showed us.
Look at the sailings, like in
Yeah,
many temples, in cathedrals, even in Greco-Roman temples, and so on. And
I always
something like
wonder
that.
why they have those ceilings in those arch pathways in those Stalin buildings. When
Exactly.
you have them on the top when you enter the building, and you have like, wow, look at this. It's just in an ancient portal, maybe something like this technology.
Agreed, absolutely. It's too complicated, too sophisticated for a country where people, millions of people were starving and so on, and definitely no equipment to cut stones and, make carvings, round shapes, and so on. This is definitely fractal design. This is also some emitters in resonators, and something is missing there. Definitely, they just took it away. Something originally was there. Now we miss it.
Yeah, we have like missing parts also. Yes, I agree because sometimes you see some we call them niche in
Niche,
Russian,
yeah.
and that's probably the same they call it in English, but nothing is in it. So it's made, but nothing is standing
Here,
inside.
look. Yes, exactly. Empty, absolutely empty. It was a resonator, one against another one to make standing wave. Here, it's
Maybe that
like a
was like
teleport.
maybe that was like an access point to something like this when you go
Yeah,
through it, like
sure.
takes away some of your credit card or something like this.
I don't think we had a monetary system like we have today,
Oh,
slavery system.
maybe just showing that you have a right to use this transportation, or you don't have it right. Maybe some animal won't pass this energy field or energy barrier or something.
Maybe, but I think everything is much more practical. I think.
Yeah, many theories. As what I've been saying, the ancient people used a bunch of things 3 or 4 ways, so we can only guess what all the lists of the
Yes,
possible theories would be.
but I can say for sure there is no way we can make this round shape stones because they must be spherical. There is no way it could be done with equipment of 1930s or something. Look at this. I don't know how it could be done without some diamond disc and some diamond tools, cutting devices, and so on. That's what I'm saying. No idea.
Yeah, guys, you will see this video in a better quality on the Globalvision channel, and you probably can see it already if he had already uploaded, as he says. So check this video out. I will leave the link in the end of the video and in the description. a bunch of technologies, and I like you to freeze on that part when you step out of the subway on a huge fountain or something on the Kurskaya station. That was really astonishing one. Those
Yeah.
ceilings are a great example of pre-flood technology.
Yes, exactly. And the emitters and so on also making standing wave. But here is what I mean. It's design absolutely the same like design of other magnetron, like churches, so-called churches, temples. When some niches or some columns standing around something big, something one in the center, some emitting device, and this horn, when normal dome, like onion domes, like bells, they are directed, pointed down. This bell shape, dome, whatever, horn, pointed
Like a
up.
huge Tesla coil on the top, guys.
Yeah,
Imagine
exactly.
huge Tesla coil, and you are right now inside the Tesla coil field, like a huge mushroom or something.
Yes, and it's definitely looks like technical design. Yes, it's beautiful, but it's kind of technical design. And
Yeah, it's like the steampunk technology, guys, like that 19th century style that we lost, that we still can see on the steampunk images.
yes, and look at the bottom. On the floor, you see some kind of pool. Maybe it was for cooling down for water, maybe for mercury to give some more energy. Mercury also can cool down technology. Huge energies were here because I can feel it, just my personal imagination. And as you can see, it's a monolith. There is no way they could make this thing outside and move it down. It was
My
carved here, absolutely.
my office right now is on this station. We moved like the last month, and I'm gonna be checking this station like Monday and check it out one more time. Very good side about this pool. Never, and this is all made up, right? This is Soviet, all these grapes and fruits, and just
But
Soviet.
look, this is just a symbol. But as I showed you before, just a second, I will try to show you. Stars are not symbols of religion or whatever. You know. Do you
Mm.
see what I'm showing you?
Yeah, you
Cross,
showing crosses right now.
but
Yeah,
it's not cross. It's
yeah.
resonators, because some 6 or 8 whatever stars here we see as resonators. Here we see semicircles like in rose windows. We see stars and so on. And what else I can show you? It's just symbols, because
Yeah, all those symbols used to mean something, right?
this is not symbols. This is fractal antenna that I'm trying to show you. Crosses were antenna and resonators.
Yeah, I'm
Because
trying to.
this is antenna, definitely fractal antenna. And this ball has some mercury and other metals inside to attract energies. This is my broadband antenna, emitting and receiving, because all antenna work 2 ways. I have a bunch of videos about
It's
antennas.
probably self-sufficient antenna. I mean, that doesn't gain any power from the nature. I mean, it's attracting it natural energy, not
Yes,
making
absolutely.
it.
And later we had this heating device. It was designed not for stove, not for wood. And but my idea is a little bit different. I will show you. No, this is too small. Just a second. This is also device. It's not just simple fountain. The shape and some coil was here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Also, the same shape like those crosses, because shape is the key for everything. Just a second. I made a video about symbols. And here also we see no crosses on so-called church, because it was not for praying, and we see some signs of free energy here. And what I'm trying to get to give you some ideas here, we see on the very early pictures we see some different resonators with also spiral. cones, and it's not David stars. It's also resonator for communications and for attracting free energy and so on. I have a bunch of pictures about it with
Yeah,
different.
I've been showing these pictures. I've seen you posting some of them on Vkontakte.
Yes, but it's only for Russians. Here also the same resonator. It has nothing to do about religion, and also multi, stars, some kind of star in it because it resonates with some energy. It has some technical reasons and applications, and here also we see the same stuff. Absolutely, one resonator here, second here. It's not about religions.
Now,
Religions were made later, created.
now the question is that what we see right now is it a copy of what used to work before, or is it the
Exactly.
device that was shut down by somebody?
This was shut down. Then we made card cult. Look, it's swastika, and it's symbol of Islamic religion, but it's cross, also fractal antenna, and so on. I have many bunch of pictures like this: swastika, uh, Christian cross, and this sign, and so on. This is kind of Moscow minaret tower in Siberia. They call it minaret tower, but you see, Star of David, but it's not David. And I have many videos, pictures like this. So
Yeah.
we had some technical devices. We call it building. Later we call it churches, and they say it was built for brain.
So what you're saying, you continuing the research that you made about the stations, about the entries of the stations and so on, and those rotundas and those transportation. So all this adds up to what we had before, and all those evidence that's still left, and we can visualize it.
Yeah, sure. Look at this, for example. It's also fractal antenna. I made a video about fractal antennas. It has nothing to do about religion, absolutely, and it's original, and so on. So all those stars they were on top of so-called churches. I have video, and I will make another video because about symbols, because symbols were stolen. Originally, it was not about religion and so on. And look at the shape of those fruits. They look like modern one, but little bit different. We had different fruits and so on, vegetations, and definitely much more animals.
What do you think about the provision? What was the main provision before? What people used to eat? Have you
Uh,
thought about it?
Never heard about, never saw any picture of people eating some animals, meat, and so on.
Like they used
Always
to say,
fruit.
like about potatoes, wheat, tomatoes, and stuff like this. That all this stuff that was,
I think vegetarian, yes.
all this stuff
Oh,
like is a poison, and what we were those vegetables that in fruit that we used to eat before, they're like disappearing right now. Almost, we don't have them. Some like very ancient. Um,
yes. And the invaders, I have proofs about it, that we were invaded in 19th century, and now they are changing the fruits, all food we have to the unnormal, I mean, genetically modified and so on. They are actually poisoning us today because earlier we had a little bit different, and now they are changing the normal wheat, normal rye, and so on. Wheat, they are disappearing. They just
yeah,
we cannot be self product and be self sufficient with foods.
and Vitaly Sundukov also been talking about it. So he was like saying that almost uh, every so-called plant that was right now is used for food is not that easy. It's not that um, primitive because it also was genetically modified by somebody. So here we have to research that more, because if those invaders modified our food, and this is what we right now eating, thinking that it is organic or something, but it's actually not. It's poisoning us and making us. Could you please shut down the screen share?
I just wanna, just a second. I wanna share you some thoughts. Why communist Stalin, whatever, would make these pictures, drawings, people? Why it's not Soviet, pioneers, not battle and so on? Why they're depicting some kind of woman and so on?
Yeah, antique style, antique
Strange,
style.
antique, absolutely. And you asked to show this one, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Yes, I will do it and then we talk. Continue. Just a second. This is too complicated only for lights. You know, pretty strange. Light bulbs, not normal, and columns also. It's not easy to make them. Really not easy. There are many other solutions, technical solutions to make just entrance. Just simple entrance. And this style also, it's original, but the price of these light bulbs, is insane. It's much easier to do something different. And we never met anything like this anywhere at this time, building this time, not in any building. So there are no proof that was done at that time because no other. If you start to produce something, you will not produce it 1 or 5 units. You'll produce 10,000. It's
Yeah,
much
it's like
more.
custom made something. I mean,
Yes, or it was produced 10, 15,000, and but it was destroyed.
it's not that pretty to be just an ordinary lamp, and it's not that obvious to code something technological, but it's really strange indeed. That's what you say.
Yes, exactly.
And
And
those ceilings also around this place looking like portals, as you were saying in the video.
mhm.
And why you saying that this exact one for the giants? Because the height is around 5 meters or something.
Over 6, and that's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
They added some strange head and machine gun, but they left this with circle or wreath.
Yeah, it's like somebody made a video about the Sakivsky Cathedral, like saying those Christian motifs on the rooftops look like exactly like antique style columns, which modified like somebody had a knife in a hand. Right now, he has a cross and stuff like this. I mean, uh, Soviets could probably modify these antique statues, and that would be stupid for them not to do that. But why didn't they use the Soviet designs with those pioneer boys, girls, like with horns and like looking like all those scout looking, you know, young people? Why they did use those antique style designs? I don't know. I don't have any explanation for that.
I have an idea because quality of new styles they add, it's absolutely primitive because today we cannot copy any style we had before, definitely. And it's so contrast, so it looks so ridiculous compared to other statues that they decided to change minimally, and they added earlier they added some christianic motifs and say that it's for praying. Later soviet unions soviets also added some communist motifs and saying that it was built by them at that time, and so on.
Yeah, what are your next step? You gonna be making some type of resume comparison film, or what are you trying to do with this subway research?
I will make a bunch of videos, because I have maybe 6 hours of picturing different stuff, absolutely different, proving that originally, uh, do you see?
Not now.
Okay, just a second. I will try it again.
You shut down your camera, by the way.
Yeah, that it's not important. My face with ugly bird, barb, not so important. Do you see my screen now?
Yeah, I see myself right now.
Yourself or my screen?
Yeah.
Good. Uh, for example, guess where is it?
Mm.
It don't matter because it's not in Jerusalem. It's not in Israel, but Israel is new country, and it's actually it's in South America. But what do you see here? It's middle of 19th century, but we see such Star of David in Nepal, where none of Jews ever been before 19th century. I can state it, and this is also in South America. Look at this. According to my information,
Yeah,
South
I've been talking about this Star of David as far as I know, is Star of Wales. So,
also, yeah, but there are many rooms. I'm saying just it's technical application definitely. This kind of star, 5 star or 6 pointed star, uh, you understand, pentagram, hexagram, and other were used for communication. We had different communication. I'm preparing video about it. It's better than radio, and it existed before than radio. And after invasion, we still try to restore some, maybe 1% of technologies we had before invasion, before nuclear bombardment, and in the communication system, this, let's call it Ansible, it's better than radio. This one was for used for communication. I'm working on some video about it, and this is also not for brain. Those domes, it has some technical application,
yeah,
and so on.
those cones again, the technology of cones that you've been
Hmm.
talking about, also present everywhere.
Yes, and this also, it was in church, but this is not candles. This is the same light bulbs like we have today, mercury light bulbs. The same principle. Some vapors inside, in the field, in the standing wave, they make light. And here we see many places. This is also middle of 19th century, but it was free energy light bulbs, like we saw in metro, in video about metro. Everything was original. That's what I'm trying to say. Even light bulbs, how to say, those devices to hold them, they were original. Like this one. They look like in metro.
Yeah, and also a couple of words about what you found because it correlates with the name of actually the people that were living before, the ants. Because the ants right now, that means an insect which is very highly organized and has like a huge colonies and stuff like this. So, and I know you made a video about the invaders or parasites. I don't know how do you call them actually, the conquerors. And
It's not
you
an English channel yet.
yeah, it's not on the English channel, so I'm making like a little
Announcement. Yeah.
a little announcement for what you're gonna do. So the ants themselves are very highly organized insects, and so you made a conclusion that those invaders are somehow related to the insects.
Yes, and I will make video explaining it. And here we see one guy turning on the lights, free energy lights, like we see all over the world. There are very few videos about it, few photos, but we can see photos of illumination everywhere. I will talk about in our
What is the stick?
invaders later.
What's the
But
stick? What's the stick for?
stick turning on and off the contact here,
Hmm.
because it's if it's you turn a little bit up and you get contact, and you see and you will have a arch, and this arch was making light, but arch between grounded pole and the free energy on this dome also, with some mercury and so on,
So what you're saying is that guy was like walking down
and
that
turning
boulevard
off
and
on and off. Yes,
okay.
each one it was no wires. And
What's the city? What's the year?
19th century definitely, but I don't know what city. Just a picture. I have
Yeah,
bunch of them.
if, I would like you to send me the link to the map for with these pictures. I will confirm the original because
And
I know how to confirm the pictures.
here also look, it's definitely no candles, no gas coming here and so on, but the same type of lights also, and much more. I will show you.
Okay,
We have strange. What is it? Well, what with watches
we can
without
only
clock,
guess.
so on. Strange. The technology level of our previous civilization was much higher than what we have today. Again, look, it's somewhere in Siberia, but what do we see here? Also resonator and pentagram on dome, but it's not Islamic. And we see what, again, no forest. It's just end of 19th century, and we see this design like,
Minaret.
it's minaret, but it looks like typical lighthouse
Yeah, yeah, I
on
see.
the shore, on the seaside, for ships. Because it also has some free energy device, and this shape is really interesting. We had such a like church, like domes on ships. I also bunch of photos of early photos of videos of ships.
What I thought about those columns and those light, how do you call them, minarets and stuff like this, all those towers that were used to dock the airships, those zeppelins or something.
Also, zeppelins also could use it, no problem. And here also, here, yes, this is in Egypt. I remember that. This minaret, but this fractal design also for some purposes. I will make another video about fractals and what minaret are. It's something amazing. You'll be
Uh, those fractals were affecting the population, right? So
Mhm.
it was like what for?
For
The
healing, for energies, for harmonizing, and so on. Look at this. This also had no candles inside, no gas coming, but we see fractal height. Just a second. We see this pine cone here, like everywhere, because energy was concentrated here and going up. And we
cone is
have,
like a little battery, guys, so you can understand.
yes, something like that. And two standing waves meeting in the middle. We're making lights here, like in light bulbs, but we use high frequency voltage for it. But here, the same principle, but two waves coming here and making lights. The same what we have today, but different source, little bit.
And this technology answers totally answers the question how the theaters were eliminated during the spectacles and stuff. So
Yes, absolutely.
because nobody can answer that question, nobody's showed me a picture of candles inside. I mean, not the picture, the photograph of the picture, where
Yeah,
we have candles inside the theater. So it's like obviously not true.
and a
And
lot
during, and
of
during no balls where noble people danced. Also, nobody showed me a single picture of those people dancing with the candles. I mean, that's ridiculous.
yes, and we see pictures of many trams driving by itself without horses and without wires,
Uh,
like those one. And
those like
I
San
showed.
Francisco trams, like they have like a little something underneath that's giving them the contact to some, and also seem to have like look like this. What you shown right now.
Look at this.
It's called тросовый трамвай.
No wires. Look, no wires and no
You
code
won't see the wires. Wires are underneath.
below. Look, nothing below them. We see free energy lamps here on the background, and we see tram alone with some fire, I mean lights.
I mean, I cannot confirm this or that tram is wireless or is it not, but I can say that I was riding those trams and they don't have wires also, but so
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
look like they are wireless. So some
But
people say they are wireless, as they say on those posts with no wires, calling them the wireless energy. I'm not calling them wireless because I see those original pictures and I see small little wires there still visible.
some of them with wires, but they're later, late 20th century.
Who knows? They could be using the old-fashioned post and use them for telegraphs after they lost the technology. Who knows? So we cannot prove it or disprove it right now because we don't have the proof of that.
But do you know any technological equipment uh, with something without technical person, without function? You know,
No,
like
if we're
car
talking
with
about the telegraph post, it could be used like a telegraph post, or you could be used.
everything. Here we see some technical devices. I
Mhm.
also
Yeah,
put some pictures of technical devices, and they all have the same domes, the same
yeah,
shape,
the cones on the top. Yeah,
columns and domes like we see everywhere. And I think it's for free energy, like we had, like we see today here. And just a second, this type. This is under the well to make standing waves and free energy. This is like Faraday cage, but look, why it's so complicated and sophisticated. We also see this free energy light bulbs, the same design everywhere in the world. Like any car has four wheels, for example, and so on. This also has the same type. We see the same design. And what is this? What do you think, Philip?
no clue actually.
That's my point. But this
Yeah,
is also
that's why.
something the same.
Yeah, I want you to just pack those stuff in a folder and upload it somewhere so I can verify those pictures, what cities and stuff like the. I know how to do that. I do it very fast.
Okay, no problem. But this is original, definitely.
Yeah,
And
that's
something
some
was moved out from there. Some device was there, some kind of coil, because we see dome, we see this cone shape, like everywhere. We could put a pentagram, uh, hexagram, whatever on top of it, or just for any fractal antenna or any cross for better contact. But it's not necessary because there are many pictures, like San Francisco panoramic picture. So of San Francisco in 1870, you cannot find any crosses. You will see many so-called churches, building of churches, but you will see balls on top of them. You will see different antenna. You will see crowns, but you will never see any cross on top. So we didn't have any religions and so on. And also everywhere you will see this type of towers on corners of any star forts. What for? They also absolutely without windows, so it's not for shooting from inside. Because if you have arches, as the official narrative saying, it's useless to shoot from such a small. You will not be able to shoot, or you can shoot only in one direction in a small hole with arrows. Come on, bullshit. It's also something was there. Star Force also great mystery. So I know nothing about the world we lived in, and well, what I know is official narrative is fake. It's a joke.
Yeah, really true. Thanks a lot for coming today, and just send me the link so I can post it under the video. You guys will check the Global Vision video about the subway in a better quality, and subscribe not to miss his new video about the parasites that he's gonna make about those insectoids or whatever. So might as well be a new theory about it. So very
Thank
glad
you,
you
Philip.
came today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, please stop screen sharing and we can stop it. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming. Probably I'll make a single broadcast pretty much soon to answer your questions. That this broadcast was made because of your questions about Globalvision, how he's doing, what he's on to research. So, anyways, that was a great one, and thanks a lot for your questions and your likes and shares. See you guys.
Cheers.
Bye.